Good evening and welcome to State of Business. This is Madhusha Thavappalakumar. Let's take a look at tonight's headlines first. Work to eradicate physical torture from the school system by 2020. NCE Exporters Awards 2018 held in Colombo. Now the stories in detail. A Walk for Real Change organised to completely eradicate physical torture from the school system by 2020 started from the Independence Square this morning under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena. Over 131 countries, including Sri Lanka, has taken action globally against child abuse and torture based on its negative impact towards the children and their future. A civil society organisation initiated this walk into child torture, considering its relevance in the above context. Severe physical torture will eventually pave the way for physical and mental disabilities and will affect the youth. Research has shown that such issues will lead towards violence in universities and be the cause behind disturbing behavioural patterns. A proposal composed of 5 suggestions towards ending physical torture in Sri Lanka and a message including 3,000 signatures was presented to the President by Ottara Gunawardena of the organisation to end child torture. The 26th Annual Export Awards of National Chamber of Exporters was held in Colombo last Friday. The annual NCE Export Awards recognize and rewards the achievements of Sri Lankan exporters in the international marketplace. The event was attended by a large gathering of over 750 participants, including members of the diplomatic corps, high state officials, and special invitees. Sectoral awards related to various products and services sectors, comprising of gold, silver, and bronze trophies, as well as medals and certificates, were presented at the event.
We are in the middle of probably the most difficult times to be in business with the rapidly depreciating rupee against the US dollar, the impact of trade embargoes that affect our tea industry, the effects that we could face or would face as a result of the trade war between the USA and China, as well as the impact that we could face as a result of Brexit, where we enjoy a healthy market for our exports with the European Union, particularly after the reintroduction of the GSP Plus facility. The internal challenges we face from time to time with regard to the ease of doing business, the looming impact of our business community as a result of impending free trade agreements, and infrastructural issues such as the lack of skilled labor, the effects of increased taxation imposed on our export sector. While some of these issues remain beyond our control, we engage with the respective policy holders to address the issues faced by our member exporters, where I must record we have received a positive hearing, but look forward to action with regard to solving such issues brought up from time to time. We recognize today our exporters, particularly those of you present this evening, to receive accolades as a sign of your tenacity, resilience, and innovativeness to brave the uncertainties of the global marketplace.
Addressing the gathering, chief guest of the event, Ambassador of Netherlands to Sri Lanka, Johan Doenwood, emphasized upon the importance of opening up Sri Lankan economy in order to drive a substantial growth in exports and to become competitive in the global market.
Producing high-quality products and following international standards will become key for Sri Lanka. Having an open mind, having an open mindset, looking for innovation and opening up your market are also important criteria. And that is what I meant with having a strategic location by itself is not enough to get you there. International standards, opening your market, transparency. And I think the government, with its Vision 2025, is going in that direction. In order to become competitive on a global market, you have to open up, be transparent and consistent, also in your policy. And let me add that I like the way Sri Lankan companies are moving towards sustainable production concepts. Sri Lanka can cultivate vegetables, flowers, fruit all year round. By using proper innovative techniques and practices with a focus on capacity building, increased efficiency, and looking properly at the supply chain, I think a lot can be achieved in Sri Lanka.
Let's take a look at more news after this short break. Welcome back. Addressing an event in Colombo recently, the Minister of Education, Akila Viraj Kariyavasan, stated that the access to quality education is yet a challenge to overcome within the country. Furthermore, the minister highlighted the initiatives carried out by the government in order to improve the quality education system in Sri Lanka.
Many of our higher education institutes are now gearing up for providing education for innovation, and it's vital for the general system of education to prepare the students for innovations right through its value chains. Although Sri Lanka can boast of a literacy rate of over 94%, the access to quality education for all is still a challenge to overcome. We have a IT literacy rate of over 40% at present in our school systems, and our aim is to leapfrog to 100% IT literacy rate through the offering of tabs for all school children in the very near future, given that power and connectivity have been made available to more than 90% of the geographical areas in the country. The government of Sri Lanka is also working towards providing Wi-Fi connectivity right throughout the country. We have also made schooling free and compulsory for 13 years, thus allowing more time for students to have a wider choice of subjects. Furthermore, introduction of smart classrooms in selected schools in the country and concept of developing the schools under the theme nearest school is the best school have now been commenced. We expect these initiatives will help address the difficulties in availability in sufficient numbers of qualified teachers in less enabled areas, particularly in the core subjects such as science, technology, engineering and maths, the non-availability in which are causing disparities in quality of learning.
Now let's take a look at the weekly economic indicators released by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka last Friday. During the period, crude oil prices largely followed an increasing trend. Prices rose to near 4-year high levels due to declining Iranian oil exports ahead of US sanctions. However, prices fell towards the end of the period as Saudi Arabia and other producers have discussed a possible production increase of about 500,000 barrels per day to offset losses due to sanctions estimated at 1.5 million BPD. Overall, both Brent and WTI prices rose by $0.7 per barrel and $0.2 per barrel respectively within the period. The weekly average weighted prime lending rate for the week ending 28 September 2018 decreased by 9 BPS to 11.74% compared to the previous week. The reserve money decreased compared to the previous week mainly due to decrease in currency in circulation. The total outstanding market liquidity decreased to a deficit of 117.163 billion rupees by end of the week compared to a deficit of 97.547 billion rupees by the end of last week. During the year up to 28 September 2018, the Sri Lanka rupee depreciated against the US dollar by 9.7%. Given the cross-currency exchange rate movements, the Sri Lanka rupee depreciated against the euro by 7.4%, the pound sterling by 7.1% and the Japanese yen by 9%, while appreciated the Indian rupee by 2.3% during this period. Now let's take a look at several top stories of the day. The National Celebration of Children's Day, organised under the direction of Women and Child Affairs Minister Chandrani Bandara, was held at Temple Trees today under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. The event was held under the theme Strengthen Our Children to Go Forth with Courage. In developing this year's theme, the ministry's prime objective was to empower children to face the society and its issues with courage and bravery. According to the Railways Department, train ticket prices were increased by 15% with effect from today without the change of its minimum fare of 10 rupees. Issuing a press release, the department stated that the 15% increase was originally announced by the previous budget and the last price revision was made in 2008. It further noted that under the new revision, the minimum fare of 10 rupees for the third class, 20 rupees for the second class and 40 rupees for the first class would not change. However, the maximum distance that could be travelled with the minimum fare would be reduced from 9 km to 7 km. Season ticket fares would also be changed according to the fare revision. Let's see how the stocks performed after this short break. Welcome back. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The all-share price index dropped 44.64 points to close at 5,817.54, and the S&P SL 20 dropped 31.94 points to close at 2,970.06. The turnover was 177 million rupees and 8.5 million shares were traded. Next is Forex rates. With that, we are wrapping up State of Business for the day. We'll meet you tomorrow at the same time with more news. Until then, take care. Good night.